How's it going? Welcome to Resistance Welding, Spot and Seam Welding and Machines. Today we will be covering the OSHA Code of Federal Regulations 1910-255. My name is Samuel Hestand. I was a spot and seam welder for about 3 years in North Baton Rouge, and I've witnessed a lot of these hazards and a lot of these regulations that you need to follow, and this is for SATC 220 Module 4. Now, who is this training for? So, according to the CFR 1910-255, all workers who will operate resistance welding equipment have to be properly instructed on operating this equipment and deemed competent. Now, I was a spot and seam welder, and I've experienced all of these hazards. I've had the arc flash, I've had burns, I've had cuts all up and down my body. I mean, it's like, you got to trust me, this stuff is important. Now, not only is it just for spot and seam welders, any flash welders, any experienced and promising welding professionals. Now, so the objective or purpose today is to educate and train participants on principles of safe spot and seam welding and give an overview of the hazards. Now, this is very important. It's not just for the workers in the company, it's for the equipment, but most importantly, the safety of the worker. Now, first off, it's required. And then it increases productivity. More productivity, more work getting done, more money coming in. It decreases downtime. No one's getting hurt. None of the equipment's breaking. More time for work, more money. And it prolongs the life of the welding equipment and machinery. If it's broken, can't work. It's plain and simple. And overall, and this is the most important part, it protects the workers and keeps them safer. Now, before I go on to the next slide, by the end of this course training session, you will show understanding of the safety skills by completing a post test with a score of 80% accuracy with a goal of reducing welding accidents in the workplace in order to benefit you and the company you work for. Now, the prerequisites for this course are: you at least need a basic knowledge of welding and spot and seam welding. B, you have to be interested in welding, and you also have to have a desire for safety protocols to keep yourself and others safe. Now, for many of you, I'm sure y'all know what spot welding is, but for those of you that don't, spot welding is a joining technique. It is fusion welding that creates a welding nugget where metal sheets overlap. This is what I used to do. So it joins metal sheets by applying pressure and heat by electrical resistance in order to generate heat, causing the metal to melt and fuse together. Then it bonds after cooling, creating a spot weld. Now, these are good for whenever you're not going to need any sanding, or if you are going to sand it down, you'll never even know that it was welded right there. The equipment we are talking about is a non-portable spot welder. These include stationary spot welders also. And then there are the large floor standing machines for medium to high volume production for thicker materials and larger pieces. Now, I used to build, like, let's say the toolboxes or any custom thing out of sheet metal. When operating sheet metal, you're gonna be using spot welding. It's the only way. It's so thin that you can't put a stick to it, or a lot of times you can use TIG for it also, but I mean, most of the time MIG is where you're gonna go with it. Now, this is very important, so pay attention. There are many major hazards that could occur. There can be some serious injuries resulting from lack of safety procedures, such as radiation exposure, electric shock, like from improper grounding on your welding machine. I've been shocked a couple times. It happens. It does not feel good. Also, fire, explosions, and burns. Like I said, I've experienced these flying sparks getting into your boot. It doesn't feel good. It could also ignite flammable materials that are sitting next to you, like a rag soaked in xylene. Heat stress from prolonged exposure to heat. Drink your water. Stay hydrated. Um, Toxic fumes. They can cause respiratory problems and other health issues. Don't want that. Physical injuries. Eye injuries from welding flash burns. Does not feel good. Injuries from moving parts like pinch points and electrode arms. It happens. Keep an eye out for it. Falls, especially when working at heights. Crushed toes and fingers from moving parts. Cuts from sharp edges and metal fragments. Skin irritation from fumes. Gastrointestinal issues from inhaling metals in fumes. None of these feel good, but that's why we have these safety procedures to prevent those from happening as much as possible. Sometimes they will happen, but it could happen a lot or it can happen a little. Your pick. Personal protective equipment, PPE. This is very important. This is your first defense against any hazards. Now, eye protection, plain and simple, protects from flying sparks or molten metal and heat. These include goggles, safety glasses with side shields, or also face shields. Body protective clothing to protect from heat and sparks. The leather or flame-resistant clothing, FR, like jacket, apron. Most of the time it's a button-down or some jeans. Oil-free clothing, because it will ignite. Watch out for that. We are welding. We're dealing with molten metal. Long sleeves and pant legs to cover skin. Simple, but it's effective. Cover head with a neck, or cover head and the neck with a cap, hood, high collared shirt. I've used all of it at the same time. That's what you need. Hand protection to protect hands from heat and sparks. Leather gloves or insulated gloves. Doesn't feel good whenever the hair on your hands are burning off. Foot protection to protect from the hot objects and anything that may fall. Steel toe boots and heat resistant shoes. Respiratory protection to protect your lungs from harmful fumes and gases. A respirator N95 mask like we would use during COVID. Simple. Also a ventilator. Hearing protection. A lot of the times it's so loud out there, and overexposure to those high noises can cause ear damage by the time you're 30. So earplugs or earmuffs. Now, there are other considerations that you need to pay attention to. So personal hygiene. Keep clothes and PPE clean. Any oils or flammable liquids that could possibly get on your clothing could ignite by the sparks and you will catch on fire. We don't want that. Need proper safety training or you can get seriously injured. If you have no idea what you're doing, either ask questions and let someone show you. Don't ever try to figure it out. But most importantly, don't take a job if you don't know what you're doing. Emergency stop buttons need to be more accessible to stop the machine instantly. If anything happens, you want to be able to cut that machine off as fast as possible to prevent anything else that could possibly go wrong. Shields. Shields are needed to protect from sparks. You will go up in flames. Serious. Foot switches need to be guarded so you don't accidentally turn on the machine. Or anyone else walking by accidentally hits that switch and you don't even know it. Something's catching on fire. Safety pins are also used to prevent accidental operation. It's basically just an extra line of defense from any mishaps that could possibly occur. Now, here's a summary of what we have covered today. Remember, fumes and gases, all these hazards, the fumes and gases could cause prolonged medical conditions, physical hazards, trips, falls, pinch points, burns, cuts, etc. Electrical shock, it happens, does not feel good. Remember, stay away. Make sure your grounds are good. And then fire and explosion. Keep away any. Remember the housekeeping, the personal hygiene. Keep your clothes and any flammable liquids that could have possibly gotten on rags or your clothing. Keep them away from while you're doing it. I'm gonna stay on this slide for a little while and let y'all take a look at the picture to the right, where it shows all of your PPE necessary for doing any type of welding. This is very important. You're going to need this at the end of the test. I'm going to let y'all look at that for a little while. Now remember the welding cap. You'll put the welding cap on and then you'll throw on your helmet, because the welding cap is also fire resistant, and while you're welding, sparks are flying everywhere. They're going to go on top of your head. You don't want all your hair to burn off. Dust masks, pretty much the fumes, depending on what kind of welding you're doing, some of them could be toxic. Safety glasses, not necessary while you're wearing the hood, but while you're doing any cutting, brazing, anything like that. Alright, so the gauntlet type welding gloves. It's pretty much just leather gloves that go up almost to your elbow. And, I mean, stuff's hot. You know, you're not going to feel it through them gloves, though. Leather welding jacket, that's pretty uncommon, but you will see it some places depending on where you're at. Most of the time in FR, a long sleeve shirt would do just fine. Long pants, the FR jeans, pretty much all you're going to need. So the high top leather work boots, I mean, we all know it's steel toe boots. They're not necessarily look like yellow rubber boots. Oh, that's just the yellow spots. Yeah, see, most of the stuff is unnecessary, and it's pretty rare to see, but you will see it in some places. Some places do require you to wear these. I've seen the leather apron before. All right, y'all. Now, thank y'all for listening today. Here's the link to the post-test. Good luck. For more information on welding basics and safety precautions, you can take this free online course to earn a certificate. The link's right here. My name's Samuel Hestand. I've done this for about 3 years, and you will get hurt. I mean, it's inevitable, but it's as long as you follow these safety precautions and these Code of Federal Regulations, the injuries will be minimal. Cuts, it's going to happen. If you do everything you're supposed to, then you have nothing to worry about. Good luck and happy welding.